Hello everyone, this is Mr.UnknownEarn. As we are still on my other account and we're still selling these cards, so technically this is literally continuing off of the pack opening I did. And if those cards sell, I will open a few packs for this video. But today, we're going to be talking about my top 50 players. 50, yes, 50 of them. So this is a long video as well. The other one, 20 minutes. This might be around 20 to 30ish minutes. So if you're not interested, or if you're not interested, it's up to you. But these were just my favorite cards that like, they weren't like, oh, Bobo's like, or like Kobe Bryant, Ruby's the 50th, Bobo's #1. No. These are cards that I got to personally use, not cards that are just good because they're on paper. Like Invincible Bobo's not my #1. Reason why? I never got to use. These are cards that I got to use personally. And number 50, ironically, goes to the Luke Kennard here. Even though he's from the Out of This World, and as you see, I didn't do any really. This Luke Kennard was a 6'5" sharpshooter, and yes, don't rage. I did have Invincible Clay, yes, but I don't know. Luke Kennard I loved his jump shot and just how simple he was. My shooting guards typically I want 3-and-D, a 3-and-D or catch and shoot artist. But yeah, that Luke Kennard was really good for when I had him. Obviously, he didn't make my actual team, but for one of my meme squads I played with my friend, he was my best scorer on there, having a 25-point bomb on him on a 2-point loss. So, number 49 goes to Daniel Gibson. Day one, Daniel Gibson, yes, wasn't the greatest shooter because, obviously, if you played 2K21 at the very beginning, shooting was kind of irrelevant. And Bobby Jones was one of the best point guards because he was really fast. But this Daniel Gibson, I loved him. For limited purposes, he was so good because he was able to shoot threes. Excuse me. And, like, he was just kind of good. Like, as you see, he can play some decent defense. He can shoot. He's athletic. And that's kind of it. Number 49 goes to a card I do not have in my collection anymore because, obviously, you witnessed me selling everything pretty much. Goes to none other than Trevor Ariza. Another limited player god. Because, like Daniel Gibson, for limited, Trevor Ariza was really that guy. 6'8", can shoot the three, can dunk it a little bit, and plays defense. And he has 77 speed. 77 speed at the time when there were restrictions to only can use Ruby and lower. He was really good for that. Next, nope, not that. Nope, one more. We're going all the way to the Age of Heroes, and we're going to one of the coolest looking cards in my opinion. I didn't like using him in the game, but the card art is why he's here. Like, you can see the arms reaching out, him flexing the intensity. And that's the reason why he made 49, 48, 50, 49, 48, 47, and now 46. If you know a YouTuber named DBG, you know this man as Yuta with Tobo. I can't say the last name because I'm not that good at saying names, but yes, like I said, this was our cards that aren't crazy good, but they're either fun to play, mess around with, or they were good. Yuta here, 5'9". I would love to messing around with this point guard as a bench player or even my starting one. And watching DBG badge out with I think 19 badges, 19 hoffs. And then I witnessed someone put a Kobe Grinch on this guy. Like, people are memeing this card, and I love it. And right next to him, we're going right to Thad Young, a budget beast, and like most of the other guys, he was a limited demon, but he was also really good for unlimited too. Being the 6'8" body, very bulky. He didn't move like he was very bulky, but he was fast, can shoot the threes, wet jumper. Smooth. Next, we're going to go back over here to page 2, and we're going back to another budget and limited beast, being Ronnie Brewer. Obviously, I like the Amethyst the most, and I had the Amethyst and Ruby, but any version of him being a 6'7", 3-point shooting, dunking, defensive guard, especially at the time when he came out, he was so good, and he was my starting shooting guard for some odd reason. I realize a lot of these lower guys are limited players, but that's obviously because they're not crazy good, but they're good for their purposes. Next is my backup point guard, or even sometimes starting, Jordan Clarkson. This 6'5" sharp shooting point guard was so nice. Like, again, I play on current gen, so him being my backup point was also kind of an issue because neither of them have clamps. I believe you can put clamps on this Clarkson. I just never knew that and never put it on. Next is one of our first glitch cards that was very interesting, being the Ruby Markelle Fultz right here. Obviously, there's only 4, but this Markelle Fultz, money jumper. Unlike his real life, where he had a very questionable shot back in Philly. But this card was so good all around. He was my starting point guard during season 2, I believe, was when season 2 or 3 when he came out. That was when it was whenever he came out is when he was my starting point guard. The next is, in HTB's words, the Prince of 2K, the Prince of my team, Tyrese Halliburton's diamond card. This card wasn't my favorite when he first came out, but I slowly grew attached to him, and this card has been very good, especially with his opal. But even though, unlike the opal, I have more memories with the diamond. Like the Thad Young, there is a better one being the pink diamond, but I have more memories with the diamond, or the ruby, and that goes for the Halliburton. Being I like the ruby, or the diamond one, because I've used it for a lot longer. I'm sorry I sound kind of... I have a speech impediment if no one knows. But yeah. Next, Christian Wood. When I grinded for this player and made a video off it on my old channel, this man was really good. 6'10", yes, he's on the shorter side, but at the time, there weren't invincible Yao Mings. At the most, there was a Dark Matter Taco Fall, who was okay at the most, and I think only 5 people have him. But yeah. Now we're going back to a throwback for people who had MT at the beginning of the year. We're going with, oh man, where is he? PG-13. Oh, he's 3K now. But this Paul George, arguably one of the best cards back in Season 1. Season 1 and 2 was this guy's best part of the year this time. You could still kind of use him, but obviously you're going to probably get steamrolled and constantly made fun of. He was my best player since I think Season 3, when I finally decided to sell him, and I think it's Walter Davis from the Locker Code, alongside getting Dirk Nowitzki. But yeah. Next is another... This card may not have been the greatest, but just because of his name, what made him pretty fun to use. But he was also my very first diamond I pulled, not from the guaranteed packs I had him, but from the Flash 3 packs. This was the very first diamond I actually pulled that wasn't a free one or one from the token market. DeMar DeRozan. May not have been a great shooter, but he was a dunker, played some decent defense, and he was very fast. Next, I feel embarrassed, but this guy came out on the day of my prom, junior year prom. Point Justice Winslow. When he came out, he was my starting point guard, especially when this was the same set that released Dark Matter Ben Simmons. And then not that long after, we got the first set of out of positions with Joakim Noah, Grant Hill, Kobe, but yeah. Next, we got a retro card. The real reason why this card's here is because back in the game he was in, which was 2K20, right? Yeah, 2K20 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's either 20 or 19. But this Giannis Antetokounmpo was my best player on those teams for the longest time, until everyone had like opals and all that. Yeah, I think it was 20, because I think that was when they released opals. But yeah, this was one of my favorite cards, and even when I purchased it on 2K21, him being able to size up, cross up, playing at the 5, which was very glitchy for him at the time, made him a very big issue on the offense or the defensive end. And this is the reason why he's on this team. I kind of just realized I haven't been saying the spots, and I kind of lost count, and I'm just kind of talking about these cards. Obviously, if I'm recording this, I'll put a little marker down. But here we have Michael Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. This diamond card, whew, it was so good. I believe he was as good as the opal one here. If not, they were carbon copies. 22, 27. Nope, he was this one. 26-15. If not, this diamond one was better on paper because of the badges, but for him being a budget card at this point, and I did a video on him with Shaq and T-Mac. That game didn't go well. But this card was one of my favorite and was a part of my team. Next is a card that I got for when I started during Season 3, during the Season of Giving, the Ruby Chef Curry. Like Daniel Gibson and Jordan Clarkson, he was one of my favorite cards to use during Limited. Because obviously if you're using Curry, who is free, and Clarkson, who is very cheap, or Gibson, most of the time you're going against people using the same. So you're not having to worry about them blowing right by, and plus back then there weren't players that were super good at doing that. Obviously there were some, being John Wall being the best one right here. This diamond John Wall. But yeah. Next is a budget beast that everyone can relate to. If you weren't that rich, the rich myteam player, and had this pink diamond Kobe or the amethyst one, which for some reason was super expensive, you had the retro series 2 with the retro ruby Kobe being Bryant. Man, R.I.P. Kobe and GG and everyone else. But this card was one of my favorite cards to use, just simply because of his name. Typically, I'm a budget player. That's literally all I can say. I'm a budget player that typically doesn't open packs, meaning I don't have the chance of buying this pink diamond. But I'm also one of those people that have a fear when I purchase a card that the card gets cheaper as soon after I buy it, and if I don't like it, I lose a lot of MT. Next card up is this Gladiator Klay Thompson. Obviously there's multiple Dark Matter Clays, being the new Legacy one, which I liked a little bit more, Invincible, which is part of my final squad. But this was one of the first Dark Matters that wasn't J.R. Smith, Yusuf Nurkic, Elvin Haynes, Trae Young, and some of the other free Dark Matters you got. This Dark Matter Clay has a little connection, as it was my first Dark Matter I pulled, and one of the very first game winners I had. Obviously, if you knew me back, if you ever seen the Cole Anthony gameplay, if you are someone from that old channel, you know I only have a Cole Anthony gameplay of him hitting a buzzer beater. But Clay did it 2 times in a row before him. In just a normal game against my friend, he hit it on the 3rd quarter, and in a random unlimited game, hit it in the 4th to send it to OT. But Cole's what had more of an impact because it was a buzzer beater to win it. Next is a retro extra, Jonathan Wall. I love John Wall cards, and especially when they bring back a John Wall card that was so deadly back in its time. This Wall card was really good back then, and he was so good still. Even though he came into the era of tall point guards, for budget cards off your bench or just cards to have fun, this John Wall was really good. He was budget friendly, and he was super deadly at attacking the rim. Didn't mean to back out, but we got another player from the olden days, being the Oh, is there no Darren Williams? Okay, there is. Diamond Darren Williams. If you do not know, everyone had a chance of a free one during a Utah Jazz Donovan Mitchell All-Star pack or something like that, or Mike Conley locker code. It was a locker code for All-Star Weekend. But at the time when this card came out, this card was arguably one of the best cards. He was comparable to the free pink diamond Steph Curry that you got for grinding to level 40. Which, if you do not know if you still need a card that kind of represents that, it's this card. This diamond Steph Curry was as good as the pink diamond. If not, it was a carbon copy at the time. Yeah, spend 30k and I'll get the one with the diamond contract. Nice. But we're going back to the meme territory. But this guy had such a good meme with me, my friends. It's Center Muggsy Bogues. I don't have much to say. I want to play the shortest player to be recorded that I'm aware of to play in the professional league. At the 5, when there's players like Shaquille O'Neal, James Donald, just tall giants. But nah, I like using my boy Muggsy at the 4 or the 5. Next is a pink diamond card. This was before I started making online or myteam videos. This was one of my favorite shooters. I loved his release. This guy had beautiful signatures in my opinion. It's a nice jump shot. Great attributes for a pink diamond at this time. Money Mitch Richmond. Next, we're going back to prom night. Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal. Likewise. Shaq here. The reason why, not only is it Shaq, the man who could post up anyone and bully them and make them end their mom cry, but he can also now shoot threes from the literal, from Chef Curry range or Dame range. Yeah, this Shaq was pretty intimidating at the time. Still kind of is, if you know how to use it. Now we're going to Retro 3, and if you did watch the final legacy before, or heard of the final legacy, which maybe very little to no one has heard of. Well, my final legacy, which was a series around Vince Carter, and I built a team around him, like Jay Canada's Spin the Wheel or HDB's Last Dance. I kind of did the same thing, but with Vince Carter, and this Opal Steph Curry was part of the second episode. And this man was wet like his book over here, just drilling 3 after 3 in the third game, and coming off the bench doing this stuff at the point of the year where short point guards were irrelevant. Really impressed me. One of my first aim with this I picked up in probably one of the first games. I got absolutely destroyed online. And there's no Jimmy Butlers, but it was the possessed Jimmy G Buckets. And this Jimmy G Buckets was super well-rounded at the time. Can hit the 3, can dunk it, can dribble, and he was athletic. Like, he was really nice. It was a really nice card. And where is it? Quantum. We're going to Quantum, the Diamond, Anthony Davis. Because at the time, 80 cards were really good, but obviously the only two there, I didn't mean to do that, but there was only 2 Anthony Davis besides the current cards. There was this pink diamond, which is the diamond card, literally just a diamond card, or the Idol Series 2 Opal one. Obviously at the time this Opal was arguably one of the best centers / power forwards in the game, but yeah, I like the diamond one because it was budget friendly, and at the time I was scared of spending huge clumps of MT on the cards that I didn't know if I was going to continue using. That's kind of the reason why. The next card is this Cam Reddish. During, I believe it was season 2, the return, I believe. No, next is now. The season 2, the draft set after draft night when LaMelo, Edwards, and Wiseman go into, well, Edwards, Wiseman, and Melo go into the first 3. They released a promo set called the Draft, which included some of the draftees being Obi Toppin, Killian Haynes, Denny Avida, or Denny Avida. Well, I don't know how to pronounce names, like I said. And Killer Cam Reddish was the lock-in reward. And at the time, there was a glitch that you could have done to get this pink diamond. You just bought all the Evo ones, have the base versions being the emeralds, lock it in, and then exchange the fully evolved ones for the emeralds, and then sell the fully evolved ones. Pretty much, I can just literally show you right here. Like this. There are emeralds here, and it says I haven't locked it in, but I've already redeemed it. Oh man, I should have added some of these guys to the list. Like this Okoro was so good for me. I mean, I like my boy Kevin Durant. Like this KD card, really scary at the 2, and even can take people off guard at the 5. But fortunately, I'm actually going to change it to Isaac Okoro. This Isaac Okoro was one of my favorite cards to use, and was one of my favorite players from this draft, just because he's a two-way slasher. And I loved his athleticism at Auburn. Ugh. But yeah, this card was one of my favorite cards. He was the first one out of these bunches that I evolved. Obviously, I sold it and got an emerald. But yeah, it's KD / Okoro. Next is arguably everyone's favorite budget card this year. If you did not use him because you spent hundreds of MT, that's understandable. But for my budget players and just people who like using really good cards, This Kevin Porter Jr. was one of them, and he was one of my favorites. It's kind of it that I want to talk about on him. And where we are now, literally, okay, so yes, there's KPJ, but to the guy to the right of him, Vince Carter. I have some sympathy for the guy who I used on one of my series on my old channels, Vince Carter. Vince Sanity, half man, half effing amazing. Vince Carter. I mean, he did betray Toronto, but he also brought basketball to Toronto, pretty much. He's the reason why Toronto, or Canadian basketball is kind of a thing. His highlights, everything he brought to the court for Toronto really sparked everything for what they are now. And he's also one of my favorite cards to use. Now we're going, you can kind of tell where I'm going with this list. A lot of these cards are budget cards. Because like I said, I didn't really like spending my MT. Like for the Opal Shaquille O'Neal, who couldn't shoot threes, well, I can use and Jarrett Allen, who can. Yes, please. And this Jarrett Allen is one of my favorite cards. I just love this man in every 2K game he's been in. That's pretty much it. And one of the more current cards, we gotta go with John Wall again. This Dark Matter John Wall. HTB's video of it was nice. And when I actually purchased it and used him, I loved him. Because he reminded me of the diamond when I used not that long ago. A few months ago, to be exact. Okay, now we went from budget to pretty spicy, expensive card to another budget beast. Being MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. If you do not know who this guy is in my team, like if you play my team and you don't know who this guy is, you should probably leave. Because this guy was the best card, in my opinion, at the time the Inferno set. Yes, you had Opal LeBron, Opal T-Mac, but nothing compared to this Michael Porter Jr. Especially when you gave him gold clamps. Whew, he was a sharpshooter that can take you off the dribble and lock you down. Yeah, I'd rather take that over like several hundred MT Opal. Yeah. Then we got this man, Jeremy Grant. Had an amazing season in Detroit, and the diamond one that everyone got, which I believe is a power forward, or is he? No, he's a small forward. This diamond moments reward was amazing for the time he came out. And when the Dark Matter came out, I spent 120 something MT on him and loved him. And then when I stopped playing and came back, he was under 14. Yeah. And if you, obviously, most people do know about this man. Where is he? Is he a triple threat? Yeah, Danny Ferry. Well, I also knew him for that reason, but I like this guy. Glitch Reality, Tony Kukoc. One of my favorite cards. Glitchy animations, great jump shot, lefty. And I love the card. That's why he's on the list. And in fact, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's the 12th of the 50th. Next, we're going to 11th. And we're going back to Season Rewind. And we found him right away. Kate's Opala. Well, it's KZ Opala. Okapala. This 6'8" shooting guard was so good. Such an amazing budget player when he came out, and still right now. Even though at this point he's an irrelevant card, if this card came out any time earlier, oh my, this card would have been one of the best pink diamonds in the game. He's got a money jumper, great defensive attributes. One of my favorite cards. But we're also going back to Cole Anthony. Why? Because he's number 10. My 10th favorite card this year was the man who hit the game-winning, buzzer-beating shot. Cole Anthony, son of Greg Anthony. Which, for some reason, a good chunk of people, or am I wrong? I hear it's Greg Anthony who's the father, but I hear people saying it's Carmelo Anthony's son. I'm going, what? Which, not realizing it's kind of plausible, but not really, actually. But I've been told it's Greg Anthony's son. And I still live by that. If I'm wrong, tell me. Otherwise, I'm believing that. Now we're going to number 9. This card, obviously, I love this opal. Everyone loved this opal when he came out. They loved the pink diamond, the opal from last year. Everyone liked the ruby one that came out. But I gotta give it to the amethyst. The amethyst I simply have way more memories of. He was one of my best he was the starting center of my team for a long time. In fact, he was my starting center until season 7. Well, not starting, he was a center on my team since season 7. Then, during that season is when I finally sold him. Badged him out like crazy. Yeah. Once again, obviously, no one's really going to know why this card's here, but for me, not that Zach LaVine, not that LeBron, this Zach LaVine. Pink Diamond Zach LaVine was part of one of my old YouTube series, literally called The Series in full capitalization. This was one of my favorite cards. Money jump shot, great signatures, great defense. Woo! This man was a killer, and I loved every moment of him. Next, we're kind of going with the same kind of player, someone who was just simply possessed, in my opinion. This Pink Diamond Miles Bridges, 6'6". He was a triple threat king. I had him, played triple threat with him. Whew, I loved every moment I played with him. Now we're going. I like how I was talking about the draft, and Denny Avila was one of those players. And his shooting guard, point guard out of position 3 is no different. Love this card. And he did sell, but the Admiral is the next card that's here. Where is he at? There's so many invincible cards. There he is. The Admiral. David Robertson. What else can I say? If you like the opal, you're loving this invincible. Next card is probably one of the interesting ones, but he's the reason why I started making YouTube videos on his card. Where is this guy going to be located at? Well, let's go to Evos, because he's right here. This Pink Diamond Derrick Rose. Actually, I think I know where he should be. He should be right around. He should be at the bottom, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure. I don't know where he's actually. What series he's from. He's probably from the Full Throttle. I can't think of it. Yeah, he's right there. I'm blind. Derrick Rose. 6'3". He has a crazy good jump shot. 93 on this card, 95 dunk, 92 dribble. I gave him a shoe to make him 95 perimeter and 99 speed. For the time when you got free Dark Matter Nash, free Pink Diamond Rod Strickland. Last season you had Dark Matter JR, Bledsoe Pink Diamond, which was horrible. Yeah. He was a really nice card to get early on. Now we're going back to Diamond LaMelo Ball, which I believe I talked about him being in my very first video, but this guy was one of my literally the first player I did a budget review this year on my old channel. And I never regret it, because this card was a demon of a scorer. Dropped a 59 point game bomb on this one player. Next we got Mr. Slow Mo Joe. If you don't know who this man is, then go get a map. But this is Kyle Anderson's Amethyst and Ruby Evo. 3-and-D to the fullest. And at the time, he was one of the best 4 and 3 players you could have ever asked for. And obviously, we can't end it off with a sour note, but it's the reason why he's still here. My favorite card this year is none other than Invincible Kobe Bryant. Do I have to say anything else but his name? That's the reason why. One of the 3 players that got me really into liking basketball, and I had a 99 everything card of him. Yeah, that's why he's my favorite. And I hope you guys enjoyed this very interesting and probably very long video, because I'm not going to be doing any editing. But thank you again. This is Mr.UnknownEarn signing out. Peace. I love you guys, and see you in the next video. Bye.